So again, welcome everyone, and today we'll continue with seven species, and we got to the most beautiful fruit that I know, the pomegranates. It's very vibrant, it's tasty, and has abundance of seeds in it. So of course, they're known for their healthy benefits too, but they also bring joy, and it's always wonderful when something as simple as a fruit can bring happiness because it's very sweet inside. So there is a lot to talk about the pomegranate fruits. It's healthy, it's tasty, it's beautiful, filled with seeds that spill out like blessings that I'm going to talk about as well. And again, there's a lot to love about this fruit. But I don't know if you're aware, the emblem of the Ministry of Tourism, when the children of Israel first encountered the promise of the land, they were told of its abundance, though many doubted. And remember when they sent the spies to scout the land, and the spies returned with the iconic image we now associate with the emblem of the Ministry of Tourism, two men carrying like a cluster of grapes so large that it took both of them to carry it. And when we read, this is from the biblical verse in Numbers chapter 13, verse 23. And when we read, when they reached the valley of Eshcol, they cut off a branch bearing a single cluster of grapes. Two of them carried it on a pole between them, along with some pomegranates and figs. So not only grapes. So they had with them also this image of the like pomegranates alongside with the enormous bunches of grapes. So they had giant pomegranates who would have left a lasting impression on the Israelites, symbolizing the promise of the fruitful land they had ventured to explore, together with the grapes that they brought. So the lushness of the land must have been overwhelming, and from that point on, the pomegranates became an enduring symbol in Jewish culture, featured in art. We're gonna show you in poetry, especially in the Song of Songs in the Old Testament, even in our like cuisine, and so much more. And if we want to take it a step further, and we're gonna go back to the beginning, so the pomegranate is not just a fruit; it's a symbol, like a rich symbol woven into our history. For example, in the Old Testament, the pomegranates were part of the bounty promised to the children of Israel, as I said, along like with the in Deuteronomy 8:8, we read about the seven species. So along with the wheat, the barley, the figs, the dates, and the olives, the pomegranates showed also the land's richness. And again, like in Hebrew, it's called Shivat Achim, Shivat Haminim, the land of Israel, what is praised for, the seven species. And in many ways, it was like the ancient marketing tool for the land of Israel, showing what awaited, like when the people, what awaited the people when they came to see. And again, the pomegranate is cultivated across the whole Mediterranean region since very, very, very ancient times. So again, it's a symbol of promise and abundance, and we're gonna see that. How is that? And definitely, it's a metaphor of fertility. Definitely, like if we took a closer look about the tree, about the flower, we can understand remarkable qualities. And it has been such a powerful symbol, and mainly being a symbol of fertility. So if we start with the flower here in the springtime, the pomegranate tree is really vibrant with lush green leaves that you can see here and stunning red flowers. Now, if you look more closely, you'll notice like the structure of the flower. It's see its base here. which hold the petals in their place. And the petals themselves, they are very delicate and almost like kind of semi-transparent. And it has this incredible like shade of orange red. And like this like gives its a unique beauty, makes it like a crown. But what's really fascinating about the pomegranates is how its fruit forms, right? Unlike most flowers, where the petals fall off and the fruit begins to grow in its place, the pomegranate itself is a continuation of the flower. So the fruit develops directly from the base of the flower, growing and maturing while still carrying the remnants of its flowering stage. Now, like you see here, like how the flower stays inside the fruit, and like it's really extraordinary. And again, it's a visual journey, the life cycle of a pomegranate. It begins with vibrant flowers. Then it transitions to small green fruit, and eventually it matures into this deep red fruit that we all recognize. But the tree in autumn, like it comes with a lot of challenges. Like actually, when I don't know if you can see here, but there's a lot of pomegranates on the floor. What happens if you go to a pomegranates field? Definitely, what happens like when the tree is heavy with the ripe pomegranates, and many pomegranates split open before they are like fully ripe, and often from the dryness of the air or external pressures they fall down, and birds and bugs find their way into the fruit. So in every pomegranate tree there is a lot on the like falling down, leaving the tree like filled with imperfect or overripe sometimes pomegranates. And those that fall into the ground, they split furthermore, and they become part of the natural cycle of feeding wildlife and nourishing the earth. And even in this, in its imperfection, the pomegranate tells a story of abundance, all right? And especially in winter, look, the tree is so like no beauty at all. But the tree itself has this duality, like in the spring and summer it's full of life and beauty with its vibrant flowers and rich fruits. But when winter comes, it becomes stark and bare, its branches stripped off the leaves and leaving a rather very disappointing appearance actually. But still the pomegranate remains deeply ingrained in our culture. Even the fruits that are like too damaged to be harvested have their place in the ecosystem, feeding bugs and birds. So it's also its resilience, its imperfections, and its cycles of abundance make the pomegranates a profound symbol of fertility, life, and again, its interdependence with nature as well. So it's really amazing. Though, like in our country, maybe the pomegranate does not look perfect, but it's so tasty. It's so tasty. Now, again, like I'm gonna talk a little bit about what some of the in the talking about commenting, some rabbis commenting about the Song of Songs, and this is from Shir Hashirim, Rabbah 611. This is a midrash, all right, and it makes a beautiful comparison. And this is what it says. And the pomegranates were in bloom. These are the children who sit and engage in Torah study and sit in rows like pomegranate seeds. Now they have this imaginary likens like school kids learning and studying the Torah to the tightly packed seeds of the pomegranates, as you can see here in the picture, all snug and interconnected. And this is a charming vision, actually, of evoking an ancient yeshiva or study room where students were likely crammed into a small space, huddled together without modern comforts like air conditioning or spacious seating that we have today. So, this metaphor reminds us of the collective effort and shared energy of learning in close quarters. This is a powerful image of unity and devotions. And definitely, the pomegranate is a fruit of abundance and blessing because it's central in Jewish celebrations, particularly in Rosh Hashanah or the New Year. And it's so much associated with the 613 commandments in the Torah because tradition says the fruit contains 613 seeds. Now, of course, anyone who tried counting the seeds knows the numbers vary. So sometimes it's 623, sometimes it's 684 and beyond. So again, still it has this symbolic connection. It remains very strong, making the pomegranate a powerful emblem of spiritual richness and divine blessings. And definitely, like, also there's many uses for the pomegranates. Now, there is the seed which is sweet and red, but there is this white, like bitter white membrane inside the pomegranate, which is often discarded, but is rich in like bioflavonoids that boost the immune system and even soothe like the sore gums. And historically, the pomegranate's rind was used in the leather tanning process, right? And its extract remains a key ingredient in the production of kosher ink for the Torah scrolls. So this ink made with materials like charcoal, almond sap, and boiled pomegranate rind is designed to be enduring. So it ensures that the sacred words in a Torah scroll remains legible for hundreds of years. So a testament to the fruit's connection to tradition and permanence. So incidentally, this enduring quality of pomegranates is evident in their staining power. So a trait every parent knows too well. A child eating a pomegranate on Rosh Hashanah in white clothes quickly becomes a magnet for stains, creating a lasting memory of the fruit's vivid essence. So, like, really, if pomegranate juice falls on your clothes, it's almost impossible to take it out to clean it. It's not easy. So again, there's a special place of honor also in poetry as well, like in the Song of Songs in chapter 4, verse 3, it says, "Your lips are like a scarlet ribbon, your mouth is lovely, your temples behind your veil are like the halves of a pomegranate." Now, again, while the comparison of temples to halves of pomegranates might seem unusual today, perhaps like evoking, but in ancient times, such descriptions were expressions of unparalleled beauty and vitality. So, also similarly, in the Song of Songs, chapter 4, verse 13, the text continues, "Your plants are an orchard of pomegranates with choice fruits." Now, these verses elevate the pomegranate to a metaphor for the abundance and lushness of life, a reflection of inner beauty and grace. So, through its symbolic ties to the Torah study as a blessing and a beauty, the pomegranate embodies a rich meaning. Its presence in the Jewish text, traditions, and even practical applications underscores its enduring significance, a fruit that connects the physical and the spiritual, the everyday and almost the eternal. So it's a very meaningful fruit. Now, even in the kitchen, even in the kitchen. Like it's a culinary star. Like it's very popular, by the way. So it has been always a staple in Israel. But again, it's been rising more in other parts of the world. But over the past 15, 20 years, more the global embrace our Middle Eastern ingredients that brought pomegranates along with other, like, I don't know if you heard about sumac, za'atar, olive oil, into more spotlight, all right, because it's very healthy. And these ingredients so foundational to our like Israeli cuisine that have become essentials for food lovers everywhere. So when pomegranates season begins, typically about a month before Rosh Hashanah, the new year, it's an exciting time in Israeli kitchens. And even after the holiday, when the fruit is at its peak, it becomes an indispensable addition to countless dishes. Like you can like add pomegranate seed to every dish. For example, here I'm gonna show you even cooking with pomegranates. Like if you are a chef, actually, you might think about you could like incorporate the pomegranates into your dishes, and this can be a game changer, by the way. And again, like the juice or the seeds bring a tartness that balances like the food and offering a more flavor. So whether it's roasted with meat or sprinkled over a finished dish of fish, pomegranates lends a unique depth to meals, and definitely in salads. You see here, uh, adding like that sweetness and vibrant color as well. So it's like my personal favorite is the quinoa salad, and definitely with pomegranate seeds. And of course, this is a perfect combination of texture and flavor. And even at breakfast, right? Pomegranate seeds like shine as a topping on yogurts and homemade granola paired with the seasonal fruit. And this simple addition elevates a morning routine into something fresh, healthy, absolutely delicious, even in cocktails. Now, this is a secret. The pomegranates inspires creativity beyond like the usual. So this is a standout. This is like a cocktail of pomegranate juice with sumac. All right, I don't know if you have this in the West, but sumac is kind of a slightly salty spice derived from dried berries, like tart berries, and it pairs beautifully with the tartness of the pomegranates. And the cocktail, like, is very refreshing mix that quickly become a favorite. And definitely, if you add some vodka to it or rum, and again, so it's like really high quality, whether it's salads, whether it's on breakfast, and whether it's a cocktail. The pomegranate continues to prove itself as like a very important ingredient, one that like bridges tradition and innovation and really even like healthness, brings antioxidation as well. So we call it the king of the fruits, right? So really we appreciate I want you to appreciate more the pomegranates. Now if you look at this picture here to the right, now it might be small and not perfect, like, but you see the crown or the flower sitting atop of it. And if we talk more about this fruit, though it's not like perfectly red here in the land, for example, and it's blemished. Sometimes you can see how the blemishes, and far from being ideal fruit, because actually the ideal fruit we export. And in Israel, many of our fruits are like this, imperfect on the outside, but incredibly flavored. So contrast that like with other countries that may have fruits that may look like vivid spotless, but really they taste bland. So don't be fooled by the appearance. Sometimes the ugly ones are the most delicious here. So again, it's almost like a crown that belongs to reality. And this fruit is truly the king of all fruits. Now, if you turn it upside down as well, you'll see the shape of a bell, right? Like here. Imagine the whole pomegranates like the, and you put it upside down. Now, what also I found fascinating is when I see like even like a pomegranates like in art as well, in modern art, and even more than that, like even like in the mosaics as well, even like adores the high priest as well robe. So so it's really the fruit itself, like really when I guide people in the Holy Land, I like to start by asking them, now let's see what is the season and what do we see us around us today. And it's essential to understand the season and how it influences what we see in nature, especially in autumn. The land now is changing dramatically. So so again, if when people come from the states or they come from the big cities, I'm not talking about the urban, like the more like where not from the countryside. This can be a bit of a surprise for them. So so because when the like the reality is the trees like are not as green at this time of the year. So but the landscape changes as the seasons shifts here. And again, like when you can when they come here, they you can see like the pomegranates like in every museum in Israel, by the way, and every art shop if you go. And like the fruit inspired countless works of art from ancient mosaics to modern sculptures. So it's amazing how it has been a symbol in our culture for centuries, representing the abundance of life here. So even as I said, it's featured in on the garment of the high priest, right? Designed like with pomegranates and bells, right? And even like if you look at a Torah scroll, sometimes you can even find some pomegranates that adorn the top of the Torah scroll, and even that they put it in a when they put the Torah in a special box as well. So if you have a synagogue nearby, take a look at those like decorations as well. So this connection between art, religion, and culture like demonstrate a lasting influence on this like fruit in all aspects of life actually. So it's very rich in the Jewish art as well. Now, before I wrap up, I want to leave with you some thoughts. So whenever you are, wherever you are in the world, and the most important thing is to enjoy what is local and what is fresh. So if you're carving something tasty and juicy but can't get a pomegranate, so head to your local farmers market and see what's in the season near you. And because the local produce always tastes better, and it's like not that like the fruits that come from very far away, often losing its nutrients from the long journey that they come from. So let's celebrate what we have around us. Now, exotic isn't always better, all right? So there is something special about like the fruit that is naturally grown in your area. And Again, like for the pomegranates, as I said, it's really like a prime fruit. All right, even when the pomegranates are ready, like you can see here, for example, in Jerusalem, the market, the local market in Jerusalem, we call it Mahne Yehuda. And again, like when you see it ready, it's like shouting, like "Pick me up." So my thought is, let's appreciate the season, the beauty of nature, and the abundance that we have around us. And I want to finish by teaching you how really you can cut a pomegranate. You can open it without making too much of a mess. So if you've never seen this method before, you are for a treat. And I'll show you how we cut the. All right. Now again, you have to slice it off the top. Start by cutting off around the crown, right? And this would reveal like the central core inside. And now we're gonna remove it carefully. You see how like spongy inside it is. Now look for the white membranes, dividing the sections, and use a knife. So we're gonna slice along these natural lines as if you're cutting an apple into quarters. Now this is like the tip. This is a very important tip. And in a moment, once it is segmented like this way, when we open it gently, we pull the sections apart. It should open easily, right? Exposing the vibrant seeds inside. Now this can be a bit messy, so take your time. And once it's out, you see the membranes holding the seeds are no longer intact, right? And the taste sweet, exactly as it should be. And again, um, to give you another hint for the juice, the pomegranate juice, if you want like really the fresh pomegranate juice to taste, it's better. Avoid to put the white membrane, this pithy thing, because it makes the juice bitter. So when you take out the white stuff, the juice is pure sweet and it's bursts with antioxidants. So a glass of fresh pomegranate juice is more than a treat. Usually when we have groups, at least I stop one time for the people to taste the juice. And again, it's very good to support the immunity of the country, of your body. It fights aging and even helps manage diabetes. It's incredible gift of abundance. And even there are modern studies that suggest, because the pomegranates have these flavonoids and antioxidants, so it may help with cancer treatment and strengthen the immune system. So whether you're enjoying the vibrant beauty of pomegranates or sharing its health benefits with others, it's a fruit that is worth celebrating, the pomegranates. So again, we conclude this webinar talking about the pomegranates. And we're looking forward for the next one, and we will be talking about the olive tree later, more in details. Thank you everyone for joining us.